Hello, today we're gonna learn about the Android activity life cycle. Now, this is already programming actually in Java. So, please open your Android Studio project and go to mainActivity.java file we created in the previous tutorials. And inside this file, we can see that the IDE generated some code for us. As I explained to you, this is a public class which is called main activity and extends app compat activity, which means basically an Android activity. Now, this override method, which overrides the method of the superclass, it's called onCreate method. And it calls the superclass onCreate, called in super.onCreate. Now, this line right here sets the content view as I explained to you, and this is one of the different steps in the Android activity lifecycle. So this is called when the activity is created. Now, we have more than one activity lifecycle. We have the onResume method too. In order for us to override that method, we type at override, the same as above but kind of different, protected void on resume. In this case we don't have any parameters, and we call super that on resume. So this will be called, this method is called when the activity is resumed from a previous stopped state. So first, the activity is created. When it's created, it shows the content. Then the activity goes to process which is started. We won't be looking at that process right now because it's not that important. Then it is resumed. Okay, so we are kind of these right here, the app is ready to be used. So here the app is ready to be used. Okay, that happens when you launch an app. That's why this is called the activity life cycle. Then if you stop using the app is paused. Okay, then if you hide the app or you go to another app, then your app, or more accurately your activity, is stopped. Okay, and finally, if you destroy the app, like when you go to recents and swipe the app to destroy it, then it is destroyed. Okay, so this is the activity life cycle. It goes from created to started to resumed, and here it's ready to be used. Then if you are doing something else and it's paused, stopped, and destroyed. We will learn in a practical way because that's better. Okay, so here on the onCreate method, we want to have access to our user interface, which we created previously on the layout.xml file. So we go to the layout.xml file, and on the text view we will create an ID, which means a way to identify this text view object in order for us to access it from the Java code. So we type ID. As you can see, the IDE generates the code for us. So make sure your ID stuff looks the same as mine. And here we give it an ID, for example, my text view. So this is how we call this text view. Okay, now we will leave this file and go to the main activity.java file. So here we will create a global variable and we will call it private text view my text view. Okay, so here you have to import the text view library to be used. You can press Alt Enter, but if you want to do it manually, you will just go and type import android.widget.textView, and you see the error is gone when you do that. Okay, so this my text view button, it's not a button, it's a view, it's a text view, will be initialized after the set content view r.layout.layout. Why? Because if we do it before, it won't find the text view because it's not displayed. So we first go and say, please display this, and then find my text view. So you type my text view and you assigned to it and type find view by ID. Okay, and here you will type capital R dot ID dot my text view. Okay, and here you successfully initialized an object. Now you can control this object from Java code. Okay, so when the activity is resumed, we will tell the app to change the content of that text view. To do that, we go and say my text view dot set text, and we will say, for example, activity was resumed, for example, or we can say on resume called to let us know that on resume method was called. Okay, now we will run this and we will see what happens. So you go run app, you wait for it for be compiled. Okay, so it's been installed and it says on resume called. What does it mean? Well, it means that the app called the on resume method. That's why it says on resume called. So imagine something here. As you can see here, first it was created, then it was started, then it was resumed. So this happens very fast when the app is started. So I mean, when you click or start the application, the activity is created, then started, and resumed. So it goes straight through the resume one, passing of course from this other. And here if we tap on recents, which is this, and we open it again, it still says on resume called. It actually is setting this again because on resume is being called again. So this was called, when we tap here, was on pause called. Okay, and on stop also was called because the app is not more in our front screen. So to understand this even more, what we will do is we will use the log. Okay, how do we use the log? Okay, easy. After this, we will type log.d, which means debug, or we can use I maybe, which means information. Okay. Again, if you want to import these, we will type import Android that, what was it? Here you can see how it's called, Android that util that log. Okay, that util that log. Okay, so first we will set the tag, which can be our app name. For example, if we want to define a Java string, we will say private static final string tag, and we will call it my app. Okay, and here in log we will, the first parameter will be tag, and the second one will be the actual message we want to send to the log. For example, in this case, it will be uncreated called. Okay, as simple as that. If we want to do this for the rest of the activity life cycles, we will implement them right now. Okay, so first is on create, then is on start, protected void on start, and we always call super that on start. Then we have on resume, so we already have it because we did it previously. And after on resume, we have on pause, so we go override protected void on pause. We always call it super that on pause. Okay, then we have on stop, so override the same, protected void on stop. Okay, and super that on stop. Okay, and finally we have override protected void on destroy, and we call super that on destroy. So we will start experimenting with these and the log. To avoid confusions, we will comment this line that says my text view set text on resume called. We double slash at the beginning, and we comment this line. Now we will paste these to every method and change it accordingly. So on start it will be on start called. In on resume it will be on resume called. In on pause it will be on pause called, and so on. On stop we have on stop called, and on destroy we have on destroy called. So this is very important for you to learn. This is the most important thing on Android, the activity life cycle. So if we run the app, run app, and we switch to the emulator, we see our app right there. Now we go back to Android Studio, and on the bottom bar we see log cat. We will click on that option, and here we have lots of information about what's going on our device. Right here we can find and change some stuff we are looking for. For example, if we want to filter only the stuff that matters to us, we will use our tag. So we will type in this search field my app, and what happened is that the log contains the messages we've sent to it. So it was on create called first, then on start called, and then on resume called. Now we will go to our device and we will change the activity life cycle. So here it's not showing for me the menu, but if you have it, you can press home. If you don't have it, you can just find a way to close the app. For example, go into settings. Okay, when you go to settings, if you go back to your Android Studio IDE, you see that we have two new states. One of them is on pause called and the other is on stop called. So when you go out of an app, you go to on pause and to on stop. So this is how the activity lifecycle works. So going again, if you have closed the app and you started from the first time or the app is not in the background, then the onCreate method is called. Okay, then on start and on resume are called, and here the app is ready to be used. Now if you close the app or go to another app, like pressing the home button or launching a different app, like we launched the settings one on our example, then the on pause and on stop methods are called. Now if you have to if you close the app using the reset and closing the app, then the app will be destroyed and this method will be called. Why are these methods so important? Because when you uncreate, when your uncreate method is called, you initialize your object, okay, your application logic, whatever it may be. Then when on start, we can still do some initialization, but the heavy one is done in onCreate. Then on resume, you can check states for how to start and display and change the state of the app. On pause, for example, you can save the user information or something depending on the app. And on stop, you can deinitialize some features, whatever it may be. On destroy, you can destroy your elements, free them or something. So this is all Android apps use these methods. They are not a must. The must is the onCreate method, which kind of sets up everything. And some apps may use one, more, maybe two or three or more of the other methods, but they are not mandatory to override them. So this has been the Android activity lifecycle. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in the next one. Bye.